Herbs have the ability to transform your hair, especially if you're dealing with weak, dry, or damaged hair. I'm Michelle from Fine Natural Hair and Faith, and in today's video, I will share with you various herbs that you can use to grow healthy hair. So now let me first put it out there. This is not a video sharing recipes. This is about sharing specific herbs that will help you to have healthy hair.
So let's talk about what healthy hair actually is. There may be a lot of opinions around this, but healthy hair is really simply hair that is balanced well with the proper amount of moisture and strength. So the way that you ensure that your hair actually has enough moisture and enough strength is you have to know your porosity first, because everything you do to your hair to care for it is going to be done either correctly or incorrectly based on knowing your porosity. So for example, let's say you have high porosity hair and you treat it like it's low porosity hair. You're not going to get the moisture that you need to be sustained. You're not going to do, the things you need to do to care for your hair in the right way, because you're not doing it based on the right porosity level, if that makes any sense. So I'm not going to go into a lot about porosity in this video, but the simple explanation is, it is your hair's ability to retain moisture. Low porosity hair, it may be difficult getting moisture into the hair, but once it's done, hair does tend to hold on to moisture longer than those who have high porosity hair, which basically their hair, moisture escapes very easily, and it may be easy to get in, but it also escapes very easily. Normal porosity is obviously a mix, a perfect balance, if you will. So what I wanted to talk about today, again, this is really going to be more of a talking head video. What this video is not going to be is me sharing recipes, because it's not about the recipes. It's about knowing the benefits of the different herbs so that you can, in an educated manner, choose which ones you want to incorporate into your hair regimen. I have some herbs here, but first let's talk about the different herbs that are available. There are herbs that strengthen, and there are herbs that moisturize. And when I say moisturize, it's more so they promote moisture retention, because let's face it, moisture is water. In order for something to get moist, it has to get wet. So the herbs in themselves don't moisturize the hair, but what they do is they promote moisture. They support moisture levels in your hair. So the moisturizing herbs, the strengthening herbs. If you're having a difficulty with retaining moisture in your hair, then obviously you want to veer more so on the side of the herbs that help with moisture promotion or retention. If you have weak, brittle hair, you want to work with the herbs that have the ability to strengthen your hair. But even more so, you might want to use maybe, let's say, a product that is been formulated with herbs that help support a healthy balance of both. And I'll explain what I mean. So for example, Sukesh Ayurveda is a product from Henna Suk. I keep my herbs in little baggies so that they don't spill. But this particular product is a rich blend of a lot of different herbs. It contains cassia, amla, aloe, neem, tulsi, bingraj, brahmi, and shakaikai. This blend of herbs will help. I think that literally, if you don't really want to be a DIY person per se, this is a great mask to have, because you can mix this up with some distilled water. You can add, other things to it to kind of blend it and mix it up. Use it as a hair mask on wash day, and you got yourself a nice blend of moisture and strength. So this is a great product. I don't know a lot of products like this that do both, that are based in the herbal format. Let's address the elephant in the room. Some people may be saying why is she just saying herbs? Why not just say Ayurvedic herbs? Because, and I talked about this in a couple of videos, and I'll also leave a link to an article down below where I explain why I don't use the word Ayurveda. There may be varying of opinion, but I go by how I feel led by the Lord. And I feel like Ayurvedic is a term that is used in basically, I don't actually want to go into it in this video. I'll leave the article below, and then you can just read it if you're interested in why. Let's get back on track. Okay, so There are many herbs out there, like so many of them. God has blessed us with so many herbs that we could use, not just in our hair, but like in our physical bodies, on our skin. There's so much. But being that we're talking about hair, let's focus on that. So herbs for dry hair. So dry hair tends to be a huge problem for those of us with natural hair because we have, a lot of like curls and twists and grooves and kinks and coils, and our natural sebum has difficulty working its way down the hair shaft. Sidebar for just a second. I have my hair up, so I'm not going to be showing my hair because it is in a protective style, and I'm actually going to link a video down below where I share why I'll be doing my hair like this, as well as in some twists that I blow out on wash day, for those of you who might be new here. If you're not new here, then you know the scoop, you know the deal. But anyway, so my next series of videos is really going to be more so about me explaining things versus showing you my hair, because I'm doing this challenge for the next 90 days. Hibiscus flowers. Here is one of the herbs. This is in floral format. You could get it in powder format. And hibiscus is amazing for helping dry hair. It adds volume to the hair as well. So this is one of the herbs that you can use if you're dealing with dryness. And I'm also going to share some ideas at the end. Like I said, I'm not going to do recipes, but I'm going to share ideas for how to use them. And then, you can go out there and search either recipes, or you can kind of formulate your own based on what I'm going to share about how you can use them in your hair routine. But stick with me. Now, some of my herbs I actually like to keep in jars just because I run out of space and all these baggies and stuff. But another herb that you can use for moisture is aloe vera powder. Aloe vera is probably like the king of adding moisture balance to herbs. Like, so for example, let's say you're doing a henna in your hair. Some people have reported that henna makes their hair feel dry and hard. Well, after the dye has released, you add a little bit of aloe vera powder to it, and that will help to balance out all that strength with some moisture. So aloe vera is another really great herb for adding moisture or moisture retention, moisture promotion, just like the hibiscus. So like I mentioned earlier, there's that product that I shared by Henna Souk. That's another one that's really, really good for helping with moisture and strength. So if any of this seems overwhelming, just by all means, buy a product that has a blend of the herbs, and then you can use them much easier. Not as many herbs that are like strictly about like promoting moisture, but there's a lot for strength. And you honestly don't need a lot. You don't need a whole collection of herbs to grow healthy hair. What you do need is consistency when you use them. So let's talk about some of the strengthening herbs. I have a lot of those, which is why I'm going to kind of talk about those a little bit more, because I do tend to not have issues so much with dry hair, but having fine hair, there's typically the issues with weak hair. Most of my herbs I do get from Henna Souk. Every now and again, I may get some on Amazon. For the most part, I like Henna Souk because they have really good, high quality herbs. Fenugreek is one of your strengthening herbs. Cassia. Let's not forget henna, the king of strengthening herbs in my opinion. Then I've got, these are ones that I've gotten actually from Amazon. Moringa leaf powder, and we'll talk about each one of these individually, and nettle leaf powder. So let's talk about nettle leaf. This is rich in silica and sulfur. When I tell you this herb is also rich in antioxidants, it can protect your hair and maybe even somewhat repair damage caused by free radicals. I do try to get all of my herbs organic when possible, but this one came straight from Bulgaria. I don't know if that's their thing out there, but that's where it comes from. And this is a really good one. You can actually use this to make a tea that you drink as well. And a lot of the herbs, not all of them, but a lot of them you can consume internally that will also help with growing healthy hair. One more thing about the nettle leaf. It also really can help with slowing down hair loss. So if you're dealing with like thinning hair, you might want to add nettle leaf powder to help you grow healthier hair and kind of like stop the hair loss that could be taking place. Moringa leaf powder, let me tell you, this one is rich in zinc. Ooh, powder fall out. It's rich in zinc and amino acids and vitamin E. This is a total mess. I'm not gonna take this one out, but it has definitely spilled. You can also consume moringa internally, and it could help with growing healthy hair, but also a host of other health issues. You definitely have to do your research as far as that's concerned, because some herbs, when taken internally, can interact with medications and if you have any kind of health condition. So you want to make sure that you do your research on that. Now let's talk about the Zizafis. I have used Zizafis for many years, off and on. I don't need to use it all the time. One thing about this when it comes to growing healthy hair is it is a workhorse at helping to redefine your curls. If your curls have gotten a little bit limp, maybe they've lost a little elasticity, this is excellent. As a matter of fact, I love how Hennessy put on the back, your hair's new best friend. Truly it is. I'll read you what it says on the back of this package, because this I can't say it any better. And this is what I have experienced. Organic Zizafis spina Christi is the perfect Ayurvedic herb for healthy hair care to achieve fuller hair, strengthening the root and hair strands, leaves hair full of shine, and gently yet deeply cleanses. Ideal for those with fine limp hair and as a pre-pull. When I tell you, this is the truth. I was dealing with an issue where my curls, I didn't have heat damage, but my curls were losing a lot of their definition. This was many years ago. And when I tell you, using this hair mask, I think I used it maybe 2 or 3 times, and my curl, they just bounced right back. So this is definitely an herb I highly recommend that every fine hair natural have in their stash, because you never know, especially if you heat treat your hair, even if you don't heat treat your hair, but anytime that your hair can lose, it's sort of curl, bounce, or if you want to call it that, Zizafis is definitely a product that you definitely need to naturally help restore that. Now, fenugreek is something that, while I love fenugreek, I can't use fenugreek straight because it causes an allergy all over my skin. I had this issue happen to me a couple years ago, maybe about a year ago, maybe a little longer. But basically with fenugreek, what you could do, and what I've actually been able to do, is add a few tablespoons to another product, or I've used products with fenugreek in them and it's fine. But as a straight hair mask, mix it up and then put it all over, that I cannot do. So with a lot of these herbs, again, even though they're all natural, you have to sometimes strand test. You have to make sure that they don't interact with other things, but they have the ability to help you grow healthy hair by the simple fact that all of them have such rich vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, different amino acids. There's so much that these herbs have that you don't have to always go on the market to buy a product. You can honestly just grab some herbs and boost those products that you already have that may not be performing up to par. Let's talk about henna and cassia. Henna and cassia both have the ability to strengthen your hair. Both of them have the ability to build up on the hair shaft and to strengthen, condition, add shine. But here's the difference. Cassia has been called neutral henna. It really is not henna at all, but that's what it's been called because it does kind of treat your hair the same as henna. But again, both of them, you use them in a way that helps to improve your hair health over time. It's cumulative results. For the cassia, it will strengthen your hair, and the henna obviously will strengthen your hair. Henna is known to filling gaps along the hair shaft, and cassia really strengthens the hair as well. Either way you use these, you will want to mix them with distilled water, and then with only difference is that when you use henna, you have to let the dye release. Cassia you can use straight away. They say allow it to sit in your hair from 15 minutes to 3 to 4 hours. Honestly, I do 2 hours and that's more than enough. I notice a difference in my hair and it does color my grays. The henna does. But as far as conditioning and strengthening the hair, both of these are excellent to have. If you're someone who doesn't want any color deposit, if you have grays that may turn reddish, then you want to go with the cassia. Okay, and one of my all-time faves is, and this is a strengthening herb, it's amla. Amla is not only a strengthening herb, it also promotes hair growth. I personally like to use this as a pre-pull. There are many, many herbs on the market that you can use to grow healthy hair. But in my opinion, less is more. You don't need a lot. And I feel like I even have a lot because I do have more in jars that I will share, and I will show you a picture of them because I have a lot of them. But what I've discovered, is over time, I was trying different herbs, trying to see, what works best. And I really do realize that having maybe 3 or 4 that I use is more than enough. Now, I spent money on these, so I will use them, and I am using them. I'm not using them much right now because I'm using a specific product line, Mineral Naturals, for a predetermined set of time because I want to see, if I can get a transformation in my hair even more so. For the most part, the herbs that I recommend that everybody, at least with fine hair, has is the amla, a henna or cassia, or both, it's up to you, the ziziphus, and the aloe vera. Honestly, this is enough, in my opinion. Balancing some moisture, strengthening, promoting hair growth. The other herbs are bonuses, in my opinion. You can try them. It's fine. Obviously they have the benefits, but if you don't want to feel overwhelmed, pick 1 or 2, strengthening, and pick one that helps promote moisture retention. You don't need to do a lot to see healthy hair growth. You just need to be consistent. Consistency with regularity is the name of the game. Now let's talk about some ways that you can use these herbs. Again, not recipes, but how you can use them. The number one way that I think is most effective is by you creating a hair tea. You've allowed the herbs to infuse water that is going to help also add moisture to your hair, but you will use those hair teas. They can strengthen your strands. And if you get a little bit of strength overload, you'll balance that out with a good moisturizing leave-in conditioner. That is it. The hair tea, to me, is the best way. But of course, you want to create hair masks to condition your hair, strengthen your hair, apply a heat source, not just a plastic baggie on your head, but a heating cap for at least 30 minutes. In the case of henna, obviously you don't have to put a heating cap, but you want to wrap it up and let it sit for a while because it will penetrate, but it takes time, as the dye is releasing even into your hair. So for dryness, you want to do a pre-poo with some of these herbs with the amla. Really helps with the moisture promotion in your hair. You also may want to use a hair butter that has some of the moisturizing herbs, and it may be a hair butter that has some aloe in it that will greatly help with dryness. Now let's talk about how you can use them for strength. I already mentioned the hair teas that can be for strength or dryness, but for strength, you want to be creating hair masks with these herbs in order to allow them to bond to your hair, to strengthen your hair. Another way that you could use these herbs to strengthen is to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of them to a deep conditioner that doesn't have, it may just be a plain deep conditioner. For example, Shea Moisture has a deep conditioner, and I don't really use their products too much, but I have that still in my stash. But they have a deep conditioner that doesn't have herbs in it. It's just, it moisturizes the hair. It's fine. But you might want to boost it with a little bit of strength. So then you would add maybe a tablespoon of fenugreek to that, or you may add a tablespoon of henna to that. And, you could use it in that way. But, obviously the biggest way you're going to get the strength is through a hair mask. And you would use them. You don't need to use them every wash day because you don't want to overload your hair with strength. But let's say maybe you might want to do it maybe once a month. That would be a good way. So strengthening with hair masks and hair teas. Number one way is to get that strength in your hair using herbs, and then doing like a pre-poo or maybe using a butter that's been infused with like aloe. That would be another way to get the benefit of a moisturizing herb into your hair. And then the final way that you could use herbs for healthy hair growth so that your hair is growing in nice and strong is to create hair oils. This is a lengthy process though. To create a hair oil that you will use that's been infused with herbs, you need to let it infuse for a minimum of 1 month. Yes, I know people do maybe a week or so overnight, but if you really want to get the true benefits of these herbs, you need time to infuse. There have been sources I know who have said they let things infuse for 6 months. Some will infuse out in the sun if you live in that sort of climate. That will help accelerate the process a little bit. But for the most part, you want to let oils that have been in, herbs added to them, you want them to infuse, and you want to let them sit for as long as possible. You can do a little warming on a stove, but the reason why I don't recommend that is because you kind of kill some of the properties of the herbs when you apply a heat source. So the best way is to just let them sit, set it, maybe mark on your calendar 2 months from now, whatever. Strain out the herbs from the oil so you can use it as a scalp massage. You could use it to add a little bit of the oil to a deep conditioner. There's just so many ways. You could use it to seal your hair. I'm telling you, this is a great way to get herbs into your hair regimen so that your hair can get stronger and it can grow in healthier. Because, granted, your hair is growing all the time. But, due to environmental factors, due to wear and tear, we need to give our hair a little bit more support, especially when it's fine. So I hope you found this video helpful. We're going to talk some more about growing healthy hair in our, not the very next video, but the video after that, because I do want to give a check-in with how I'm doing with the challenge following Janet Davies' hair regimen. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. God bless you.